well, hold on. You got it. You got me?
Mhm. Welcome into the West Alabama High School Pigskin Preview Show. I'm Martin Houston, and we're live and local and ready to get things rolling. We had a little hiatus last week. Hopefully, you got to enjoy the broadcast, but we're glad to be back with you on this Thursday. So glad to have you. You can call us on the Empowerment Strategies and Solutions hotline, and that is 205 342 9904. 205 342 9904. That's the Empowerment Strategies and Solutions hotline. Love to hear from you out there as fans and what you have going on and what you like to talk about uh, as far as the high school in West Alabama concerned. Watch, you guys are coming through. You guys are coming through. Uh, so we're glad that you've chosen to be with us tonight. We're going to be highlighting Sipsey Valley and Northside. The Sipsey Valley Bears sitting at 4-2, Northside sitting at 5-1. But this is a little different. Gonna attempted to reach out to both coaches. Have not heard back from Coach Milligan of Sipsey Valley, but gonna be adding Coach Robbie Jones to the conversation here in just a moment. But if you want to get in on the conversation, if you have highlights, thoughts, etc., then call me once again on the Empowerment Strategies and Solutions hotline at 205 342 9904. That's the Empowerment Strategies and Solutions hotline. Let's go ahead and bring X. How you doing, sir?
Doing good. How are you doing this evening?
Doing well. Have you had a chance to go? I have not got to go out and check out any high school football in person, but we've had our trustee Anna Snyder joining us each week, who've been out there live. But what about you?
I have not had an opportunity to go out to a game in person. I try to keep up with it the best I can through our sources and, of course, through trusty old X, aka Twitter.
Yeah, yeah, I still hadn't figured that piece out as well. So if we figure out the X versus the Twitter, we'll work it in. Any high school, few weeks ago, we were excited, and Central was on the right track, but they've dropped three in a row. So they're sitting at 3-3. The uh, question I have is, you know, is did we put too high expectations, or did they just run into a couple good teams? They had a tough one against Northridge, I know, but they've dropped a couple other ones as well.
I mean, you got 6A football is a tough region to play in when you're looking at the teams. So it's probably a little bit of they. Coach Pippen said they had a young team as well as just the competition overall that they face.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody else kind of jumped out at you this year from a surprise standpoint, or kind of what you expected?
Well, my Tuscaloosa Academy Knights, my alma mater, has really kept things rolling this year. They're sitting at 5-0, 3-0 in the region, and they've been doing it pretty dominantly. They have their quarterback Preston Lancaster, who's in his senior season. He's a 3-year starter, and they've been handling business. Their closest game has been 21-12. Outside of that, it's been three real big blowouts and a 14-point win over ACA to start the season.
Yeah, and what's interesting with that is, when you look at that kind of, to me, 5A and up in West Alabama can be kind of iffy. In 4A and down, West Alabama seems to represent pretty good. So any other teams, we haven't highlighted all of the teams in West Alabama, but Bibb County is one of those teams that I kind of look at, and we do want to try to get coach on at some point. But Bibb County seems to be taking care of business, and they took out your brother's alma mater last week with a big win.
Oh wow! See, I didn't catch that one. What was the score on that?
I'd have to look it up, but let me see. Bibb County versus Northridge. I don't remember the score right off, but they had to battle back. I'll get it in just a second. But they're sitting at 5-1 as well. And Bibb County's always had a tough, a really good football team. And the point I was trying to make, and I'll get that score in a moment. The point I was trying to make, though, X, is that the lower schools seem to be better than the bigger schools. All of the big schools seem to come from Montgomery, Birmingham, Mobile, and Huntsville. When you get above that
Yeah.
5A, especially the Birmingham side of things. So it's an interesting dynamic. But one of the schools that does seem to be representing well, and if we can get Coach on, we'll be adding him to the conversation here in just a moment. Sipsey Valley and Northside, both are now 5A. So this would be their first time meeting as regional foes. So as 5A regional foes, it's kind of interesting. Both of those two schools growing at a pretty rapid pace.
Yeah, you're starting to see that, in Tuscaloosa. People are starting to move to the outskirts, and that's what's helping the North Sides and the Sipsies. I think Sipsey wasn't even a high school when I graduated. They came into existence 2 years after I graduated high school, and then you look at Northside, they were a 3A, would bump up to a
Your
4A,
call has
back
been
down to
forwarded to voice.
3A. But as people have moved outside, those schools have grown, and their football teams have improved over those years as well because of that.
Yeah, and you know, one of the questions I wanted to ask Coach was, would is Northside potentially growing too fast? Because I think it was only a few cycles ago they were a 3A. When I say a cycle, those who may not know, high school football changes out, or not changes out, but upgrades and updates their um, classifications every 2 years. So it's interesting to see, are they growing too fast? Because they have literally, as you said, gone from, yeah, as I was saying, from 3A to 5A. I think it's only been like 3 cycles ago, maybe 3 to 4 cycles ago, that they were 3A, but now they're 5A. But they seem to be holding their own. They're sitting at 5-1. Uh, but Coach Jones, as I was talking to him this week, he was saying about the team being young and all of that. So hopefully we're going to be able to catch up with him. Sometimes these coaches have practices and things, and they can't get off the field, or they can't get to the phone. But we'll keep trying. We'll go ahead and get to a break here, and we'll be back. You're listening to the West Alabama High School Pigskin Preview Show right here on Tide 100.9, 12:38 a.m. and on the Martin Houston Broadcasting Network. Thanks for being a part of the program. Hey, listen, if you want to get in on the conversation, you want to talk about high school football, you want to bring some content to the table, just call us on the Empowerment Strategy and Solutions Hotline at 205-342-9904. North River Timber Company, LLC. If you have timberland in West Alabama and around the state, you need to call Courtney White or Chase Pearson. You can reach them at 205 242 5127 or 205-799-0665. That's North River Timber Company, LLC, timber harvesting, appraisals, land management, and more. Or email them at northrivertimberco@gmail.com. Courtney White says, if you have land, it's like having money in the bank and you need to maximize that potential. In order to maximize it, give Courtney White a call at 205-242-5127. That's North River Timber Company. Give Dixie Battery Supply a call and you'll never feel powerless again. Stock up with batteries from their Tuscaloosa and Northport stores. When you visit Dixie Battery Supply, you can count on finding every kind of battery you need from top battery brands. Or hey, you may be in the market and need a reconditioned battery. They start at $39.99. Try and get rid of all those old batteries with no more juice left. They'll buy those back by the pound or by the unit. Don't contribute to pollution by just tossing them out. Turn to Dixie Battery Supply, and they will be there to help you. Regardless of what type of device you're looking to power up, you can power up those devices at Dixie Battery Supply. Call them at 205-758-9190, 205-758-9190, or visit DixieBatterySupply.com. And while you're there, ask them about those golf carts. They will take care of you. They buy junk batteries. That's DixieBatterySupply.com. Welcome back into the Welcome back into the West Alabama High School Pigskin Preview Show. I think we're going to be able to get Coach on here in just a moment. Was able to talk with him during the break there. So, is Coach ready, Wyatt? Let me know when he's on, when you get him, and then we'll move on. But X, like I was saying, it's high school football, to me. And I've said this several times. I hope what little bit we can do to maybe even help bring a little attention to West Alabama high school football helps West Alabama high school football. The likes of the small towns of Gordo and Bibb County and places like that seem to be, on the right track, and hopefully we can see a few schools here in Tuscaloosa County get on the right track. And with that said, we have Coach Robbie Jones in with us. Good afternoon, Coach. How you doing? I can't hear Coach.
Can you hear me?
I can now, Coach. I can now.
Thank you. I'm doing well.
Well, thank you so much. I know you're busy. I know you're getting your team ready for a big time. What do y'all call it? You can say cross town, cross county, cross. What's the rivalry? This rivalry has to kind of, does it have a name?
It doesn't. It just when they split from and made the school from county high, it just we've been stuck together. We've never had a name for it, so we just call it the game.
That's what we need to do, Coach. We need to name this thing because it's funny, and I'm not trying to be funny with this. How long have you been there? Before I ask the question, how long have you been?
I came with Coach Montgomery as a young buck in 2007.
Okay, now, Coach, how many games had they won in the prior 10 years before you got there?
They had not. I was there when it all started, and they've won 2 out of 14.
That's I know it was kind of, and I wasn't being ugly with it because I was doing the PA at Sipsey Valley, starting when Coach Ford got there and did it, while he was there. And so I just remember at the very beginning, the teams Northside was about to start winning and going a decent run. Sipsey was fighting for it, and it came down a couple times where that was going to be the big game as far as the community rivalry goes. But we need to get that thing a name, man.
Yeah, we back home when Scottsboro, North Jackson, it's called the Battle of the Valley. So
yeah,
that's what I grew up with playing North Jackson every year. But no, it doesn't have a name. We just I don't know. Maybe someday they'll name it something. But they've got a good program, and
I can tell you, Coach.
I got a good one for
it. What's that?
The North Valley rivalry.
North Valley.
Yeah.
I mean, well, that kind of takes both teams, Northside and Sipsey Valley. So it's not bad. I wanted something like Bone Crusher or something, Coach.
Yeah. That's what was it Oregon State's called the War. So let's call it a war.
I want something like nasty, like mean, But anyway, Coach, first of all, once again, thank you so much for jumping on here with us. We were talking before you got on, Coach. You've seen the explosion of the population in your area, okay?
Yeah.
And as that area has exploded, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys have jumped from 3A to 5A in just a matter of a few cycles, right?
Yes, sir. It's jumped. We were 3A not even 10 years ago, and went to 4A for about 6 years, and then here we are at 5A, and it won't be long. We'll be 6A. It won't be long.
And and I know that. And so my question, that's why I wanted to kind of ask you this question first before we get into the specifics of your team and the game. Kind of a two-part question. Have you seen the players come with the population? Because this AHSAA, they don't really they just look at population. They just look at numbers, right? They don't look at the fact that one school is growing because they're busing in kids, but another school is growing because just families with young kids are moving in because they're trying to get out of the urban parts of the city, etc. And so have you seen your numbers and your players go up, or has that lagged behind?
No, that's what's weird about it is we've been at the same level playing numbers probably the last 10 years. Like right now we're at 54, and the most we've ever had was 63, but that was probably 8 years ago. Yeah. So the numbers don't go up at all. I mean we're kind of it's the same number here every year, and that's weird because our elementary school, Walker Elementary, is just running over and over and over. And I bet those numbers will jump up way down the road. But no, we haven't seen that at all. And that's hard going to play some of these big schools, and you're like, wow, they don't go both ways, and we're over there platooning.
Yeah, I was going to say, you guys have, half the roster of some of your, or at least 40% of it. I thought it would have gone up some, but I figured it hadn't grown at the same pace. What about the parental involvement? And I'm not being ugly to the people moving to Northside, but Northside to me was kind of like Gordo or like Bibb County, where when you guys went there, you guys may not have been winning with Coach Montgomery, but one thing when you guys got them to buy into the program, you had crazy community support and family support. Have you been able to maintain that aspect of it? And then hopefully as the kids get older and all those younger families, you'll start getting the numbers?
Oh, absolutely. That was what was so shocking when I came is how Northside will travel anywhere. It doesn't matter. And the involvement's big time. I mean, the reserve seating goes out so quick. We have a small stadium, and it packs out very quickly. a few years ago we went to when we beat Madison Academy. The place was packed and rocking, ready to go at 6:00.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unreal. The place is just to be kind of not subdued, but to be such a. As soon as we got this thing rolling and got people to buy in and buy into the brand that we had, was Coach Hilliker brought. People wanted it, and now they're when you, like last year, you go 4-6, and there's that's not going to work. And
that's right.
People they want it. They want to be right there in the sticks of it with like Gordo and Bibb and all that. And that's what it should be.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, I know that I can remember. This is the crazy part. When you've been around and as old as I am, and you've been in the same community 30-something years, you've seen some ebbs and flows. And I can remember Northside wasn't winning, and they would still have, in some ways, the equivalent support of the teams that were winning. And you're like, this is crazy. If they ever get a winning program, these fans will be through the roof. So I'm glad to hear that even as the community is growing, Coach, that the people coming into the community hasn't watered down that support for high school football. I'm glad to hear that.
And that's been, people will move or bring their kids, and they think, oh, I'll bring my kid and he'll just play at Northside. Well, it don't work that way, because we got boys that work real hard, and they bought their time, and you just can't just come in and say, hey, I'm going to play. Because our workout program is not a joke, and it's a year-round thing. And a lot of people are like, wait a minute, I thought I could just step in here. No, if you want to play and you're going to play, you got to earn it.
Coach, when you're talking about your program and being there since Coach Montgomery was there back in 07, what has it been like to watch it grow into this point? Now you're like you said, you've gone from a 3A to a 5A, and the hard work, the effort, it's paying off on the field now, even with the jump in competition, sitting at 5-1.
Yeah, it's you look at it when we were in 3A, and it was leaps and bounds. It was like you had certain teams when we were in 3A, like, hey, if we're going to get here, we're going to have to be this style on this brand of ball club, because we can't match up with a lot of the athletic teams that we had. So Coach Hilliker brought the double wing, and that kind of made it an equalizer playing field, because we could control the clock. And then the weight room came and developing all that in 3A. So we were like, all right, so if we go play a Greensboro team, that was kind of like our little bars, like, hey, we can't race with them. So we got to play our style. And so we started making the playoffs, and then we'd run into Trinity and Strawn and people like that. Then when we jumped to 4A, the standard was who? It was Gordo and Bibb County. And then you get around and you start playing, and you got to stick with what you know and stick to the culture. And then, you turn around and you beat Bibb County, and then you turn around and you beat Gordo, and then, things like that. And then it's just the culture of it. And then you get to 5A, and then like this year, and people were like, oh, you're not going to, I've heard the radio show this summer, you can't beat Montevallo. And it's just like, to stick to what we know, stick to how we play. And then you go on the road and you beat Montevallo, because if you start playing the way Montevallo plays, they'll run you out of the stadium,
Yeah.
And you have to, and then you go to Selma, and you can't play that style. So we just stick to our culture and what we're about. Like I said in the beginning of the year, 3A, 4A, 5A, we've heard it all. And we just stick to who we are and work real hard in the off season, and let the chips fall where they may.
Because you talk about the wings, that's old school, and so a lot of
Are you
teams
still
aren't
running
seeing
that
that on
same
the
style, Coach?
Sir?
Are you still running the same style before I ask that next question?
Oh, yeah. And we adapt. Like, we have a quarterback that can throw it a little bit. We have some athletic guys, but we still run our gun wing stuff, and then our 2x2 tight end, 21 personnel or 12 personnel stuff. But when we can get spread, we run spread. We try to, go with what we've got, and and whatever's hot, we ride it. And some teams are not good at defending this, so we'll jump in this, and we can be a little bit more adaptive of what we do. But at the end of the day, power and counter is what got us where we are.
X, go ahead.
Yes. So with that style, as you're saying, like a lot of teams don't see that. You don't see that anywhere anymore. So with that being the advantage, what about as you said, the mismatching of depending on what a team is good with goes into your game planning?
Well, like you take, for example, when Coach Lawley was at Gordo, and he's one of my best friends. He's now at Northridge. When you take like a program like that, we knew that every time that Tanner Bailey touched the ball, they could score at any second with Bailey and Caps and Oglin and all those good players.
Yep.
And so we were sitting there thinking, all right, we've lost the game, and we got to minimize the mistakes, got to control the ball, don't give up any explosive plays, be based on defense, and control the clock. And that's what you have to do when it depends on who you play. And then if you go against a team that they like to run smash mouth, and you got to be able to withstand it. Can we play a good defense, that week with what we do? Can we control all the gaps? Can we build a fence and, keep them in 3 and outs? And that's what we've been doing, depending on who we play. We scheme it up every Sunday just like everybody else, and see how we can attack it. And then we have certain, other things like in our hybrid offense when we get in slot or we get in spread, what can we do to attack them? And we use that every day in practice. We go through all 3 of them just in case something doesn't work too well.
Yeah, Coach, that's awesome. If you're just not joining us, you're listening to the West Alabama High School Pigskin Preview Show. We're speaking with Coach Robbie Jones of the Northside Rams. The N on the helmet stands for Northside, not Northridge. Make sure you get it right. Correct, Coach?
That's right. I love Ryan Lawley, though. I love him.
I thought that was pretty funny that you and Coach Lawley are good friends. They're taking on the Sipsey Valley Bears. It's 4-2. This is their first meeting as Region 5 foes, and they've had about 14 or so matchups. I think this may be number 15. Northside holding the advantage at 12-2, but Sipsey Valley got them last year. As the Rams kind of had an off year. But Coach, you said that you guys were young, still young, and grinding each week. Tell us a little bit about this team and what's made this young team kind of gel and get to this 5-1 mark.
Well, we last year we had to make a decision that kind of set the coast of the year. We had to start a freshman quarterback, and we all know what that brings. We only had basically 7 seniors and 4 that started. We played a lot of freshmen on defense. We played a lot of freshmen on offense, and we kind of said, hey, we're going to get better each week, and we're going to build this thing back up right after making a bunch of consecutive playoff runs, and it's paid off for us. And then right after the season was over, we got back to work right after Thanksgiving, and we haven't stopped since Thanksgiving. And we got a leadership group that our team voted for, and people that speak out. And it's been one of the best groups I've ever been around, just being around them. They understand what it takes. They come to work every day. There's no excuses. I still only have 10 seniors in this group. That's how young we still are.
Wow.
And I got 10 seniors with 54 players.
You had 17 total seniors for 2 classes.
In the last 2 years.
That is crazy.
We've been we took a few on the chin last year, Yeah. And that's okay. We know what we were doing. We know what we were building, and it's been they're a joy to be around. And right now we work our tails off every day, and we lift 3 days a week during the season. We don't let up, and
You getting me
Great.
excited. You make this 54-year-old want to go back and play football, because
Man,
I'm that old school. Hit them in the mouth, and that old Coach Stallings, you run it, and if they stop it, run it again just in case they got lucky,
yeah, yeah.
and just keep at it. So, X, I have one more question for you about the game specifically. But X, did you have anything else before we get ready to let Coach get out of here?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, Coach, you're off to a great start, 5-1. You're taking on Sipsey Valley. You guys have kind of been tied at the hip, in my opinion, having watched both programs. What's the keys to victory for Northside if they're going to move that record to 6-1 and notch another region win?
Well, I have all the respect for them. They got a great quarterback, LJ Cormier. He's played a long time. He's got great feet. He can throw it. He's hard to bring down. The play's not over unless he runs out of bounds or he's tackled, and he can get you. And they've got good receivers. Defense gets after it. We're gonna have to step up. We're gonna have to, play 4 quarters and try to control the clock and get it to that last minute and hope to God that we're up by a little bit and get it out of there because they're dangerous.
Hey,
Every
Coach,
time he touches the ball, they're dangerous.
well, Coach, they have one secret weapon. You know what it is?
What's that?
My church fed him last week, and I spoke to him, and I told him about
Oh,
grit. I told him about
yeah.
grit, Coach. Grow through adversity. Something's going to go wrong. How you going to respond? Then I told him you have to have a resilient spirit, and don't let the bad thing throw you out of your game plan. Then it was influence. Remember that people are watching you. So if you're the leaders on the team, make sure you don't do something stupid.
That's right.
And cost yourself during the game or run off and do something stupid and cost your team a touchdown. And then the last one, just be tenacious, man. Just make the other guy want to quit. So now you can go tell your team and equalize it.
Hey, yeah. Well, I wish you wouldn't have told them that because they don't need no help with no grit. They're gritty enough.
I know. Well, hey, listen, I am going to let you go, Coach. We so appreciate what you do for high school football, but also for our community, because I don't believe anything prepares young men to be good citizens and good husbands and fathers and workers like the game of football, especially when a program is ran the way you run yours. Wish you nothing but the best on tomorrow night, and maybe we'll catch up with you again later on in the season.
Appreciate it. I appreciate y'all having me on.
All right. Thanks, Coach. We'll be back in just a moment. That was Coach Robbie Jones of the Northside Rams. We'll be back in just a moment. Want to encourage you to make sure that you stay tuned. We'll be adding Anna Snyder to the conversation after this quick message. Thanks for being a part of the program. It's the West Alabama High School Pigskin Preview Show. Check out the great folks over at Box Eye Care, Daniel Box, OD, 205-342-0660. Box Eye Care, boxeyecare.com. They have a great new location where they are going to take care of all of the things you've come to expect from them, but they've also added that new in-house lab where you're going to get a great choice of inventory. In most cases, you're going to be able to get in and out with a stylish new look in 1 hour or less. And it's also going to mean that you're going to get great competitive prices. That's Box Eye Care, providing you the same great service that you've always expected and a whole lot more. Visit Box Eye Care, boxeyecare.com, 205-342-0660. That's Box Eye Care. Dr. Daniel Box and his team are waiting on an opportunity to serve you. Visit them at 5003 Oscar Baxter Drive. Welcome back in. We're back in on the Martin Houston Show. Oh, sorry. Hey, listen. This is the Martin Houston Show that comes on at 6 a.m. This is the West Alabama High School Pigskin Preview Show. So glad that you've chosen to be with us tonight. I want to remind you that you can go check out. Houston Hydra Steam. Houston Hydra Steam. Go check them out. Find them online at HoustonHydraSteam.com. Is your carpet this clean? Clean enough for your baby to lay on and not worry about any of the pollutions and pollutants and different things that can happen. Carpet upholstery cleaning, oriental rug cleaning, residential, commercial water damage, deodorizing, and a whole lot more. Call them at 205-553-9460. That's Houston Hydra Steam. And also go check out the venue. They also a part of this program. They'll actually be the coaches huddle following this program. The venue at Tuscaloosa. They can take care of you. They're the new hangout in Tuscaloosa, your new favorite hangout. The venue, find them online at venuetuscaloosa.com. Also, if you're looking for a great place to eat, great music, and more, come and taste what's new as Liza's Sweet Shop. Also, Finney's Pub, and all-day breakfast and burgers from Rama Jammas at the venue. It's the perfect spot for any occasion. All right, let's get back to the phone lines and bring in Miss Anna Snyder. How you doing, Anna?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. Now, hey, we missed you last week. I had to do my show a little. We were preempted for great programming. We brought the Dallas Cowboys on, but we're back this week. But kind of tell us what you got to see last week.
Sorry. What'd you say?
I said, tell us about who you covered last week and what was your takeaway from the game.
Yes, so last week I was at Northridge for Bibb County at Northridge. And, that was actually a cool game because my dad was with me because he was in town for the Georgia-Alabama game. So he got to go with me. But, yeah, Bibb County.
Hold on. Is your dad – now, are you an Alabama fan yet, or are you still Georgia?
Georgia.
Okay.
My dad would disown me if I rooted for Alabama.
Well, my daughter, I don't know if you know this, my daughter is an athletic trainer for Georgia. Okay.
No way.
Yes. And so, Anna, we've been telling her that she's actually, a Georgia fan. She's like, nah, she's like, maybe. Well, she got busted, Anna.
Really?
ESPN. When Georgia scored, ESPN goes down the sideline behind the Georgia bench.
Uh-huh.
And it's showing all the players like high-fiving and people running. Right smack in the middle of the camera is the former Alabama fullback national championships daughter doing the Gus Malzahn fist bump. Yeah. And she talking about, well, I might be. I said, no, you're all in with Georgia now. You're officially.
I love that. Go Dogs. I was doing the same that moment, but it did not last very long. So.
Well, I sat in her seats with Georgia fans last week. So
really,
fortunately for me, I didn't say a lot during the time we were winning. And then I didn't say anything when Georgia went ahead. I actually predicted it that Georgia would take the lead when Alabama was up by 18. They said, man, you're so calm and all this stuff. I said, they said, you're just sitting back chilling. I said, no. I said, Georgia still may win this thing and they will come back and probably take the lead.
Mm-hmm.
And so when
they made it exciting.
Yeah. So anyway, go back to your game. I'm sorry I derailed you.
No, you're fine. Yeah, I was just at Northridge for Bibb County at Northridge, and Bibb County ended up winning that game. I want to say the final score, 42-13. I want to say it was only like 21-13 at the half, maybe 17, somewhere around that. But Bibb County kind of they went off in the second half, and they closed the game out pretty strong.
Yeah, this Bibb County team seems to be really, really one of the better all-around teams, and and prepare to compete.
Yeah.
We actually have several 5A schools in our region that seem to be pretty good.
Yeah, a lot of them moved up, like the Northsides and the Sipseys did with Demopolis, because last year it was just Demopolis in 5A. But no, Bibb County, I know I've only been here like a year and a half, but I feel like Bibb County is always just a good, solid youth football team. They're in their 10th or 11th season under their coach, and yeah, he does a good job over there. They're definitely always a good team.
Yeah, totally agree. I was actually talking about it earlier in the program, and I said, kind of, if you take 4A and down, West Alabama seems to do pretty good in football.
Yeah.
Because but all when you get 5A and above, it's always been kind of Birmingham, Mobile, Montgomery, Huntsville, the bigger metros. Interesting, and
Yeah.
Tuscaloosa's kind of caught in the middle, but interesting. I just wonder, do you think the Bibb counties and the North Sides are going to be able to maintain, because they were those really, really good 4A programs that moved up, and they seem to be, competing, because that was Bibb's second win over a 6A program.
Yeah, Bibb is actually, they're still 4A.
Bibb is still 4A. That's right. They're I think ranked number 4 but I'm getting them mixed up because I think they've played 2 or 3 6A schools. So, and beat them.
No, you're good. You're good. I mean, Northside, they started 4-0 and they lost their first game a couple weeks ago, but it was still a close game, 35-28. Neither teams have played Demopolis, which was the only 5A team kind of in my coverage zone at least. And Demopolis with their coach, they've always had a good team. So that'll be interesting, when they face Demopolis. And I'm not exactly positive the other top teams in that region right now, but they've definitely had a good start to the season. All the the teams that have moved up.
Yeah, and they play Sipsey Valley tonight. We just got off the phone with Coach Jones.
Yes, that'll be a good one tomorrow night. That'll be a very good game.
So what are you doing tomorrow? Where are you going to be at tomorrow?
I'm going to be at County High because Hillcrest is playing over there. So that's where I'll be tomorrow night.
Did you, that used to be a big rival and that kind of went away. Has there been any I guess, chatter back and forth between the schools about this upcoming game?
I haven't seen any. And I think if there were any, it would just be all, in good fun. But
yeah,
this is the first time they've played, I think, since 2021. Because I noticed that they used to play all the time and then they stopped. But no, I think it's going to be a really, really fun atmosphere Friday night. I'm just super excited. Especially, now it's a region game for the both of them too. So it's going to be really fun.
Yeah, and what you see is, it's interesting. What's happening is, you have Sipsey and Northside county schools who are both growing up. You have County High, who went up many moons ago, but now Hillcrest, another county school, which kind of, I guess, it kind of speaks to the population trends of our region. People seem to be leaving Tuscaloosa Metro and moving into these other schools. Have you looked into that, and do you see that potentially, even though I know the schools just moved up in terms of Central and all that, but do you see possibly Central or Bryant? I don't see Northridge going back down, but do you see the population in those areas potentially dropping those schools back down at some point? Because they're not big schools right now.
Yeah, if I'm going to be so honest with you, I have no idea because I have not even looked at that stuff. I do know, I think it was Central's coach who told me that they are kind of at the bottom of like the population size for 6A. They're one of the smaller 6A schools.
Yep.
So I know he did tell me that, but I haven't looked at the numbers or anything.
Yeah, it's just, you can just, and that's why I said you can kind of see the trend happening because they're moving.
Yeah.
They're moving out. Yeah. Go ahead, Ed.
Anna,
that makes
crazy
sense.
part of that is, if you look at it, County High and Hillcrest are 2 of the smallest 7As.
Yep.
Bryant and Central are two of the smallest 6As. Northridge isn't too far above them. So that's that population leaving the metro of Tuscaloosa to the outskirts, and that's why you do see the boom in the Sipseys, the North Sides, and schools like that.
Yeah, I never even thought of it like that before, but you guys are so right. That makes sense. That definitely makes sense.
Well, anybody. Well, first of all, who do you have in the Hillcrest County High game?
I have Hillcrest winning that one. I do. I think that both County High's looking for their first win, but Hillcrest also is looking for their first region win. And I expect them to come out of the gates pretty strong tomorrow night.
All right. Any other teams or games that you're going to be watching? I know you had a couple predictions on your website. I mean, on your Tusk Sports that you.
Yes. Yeah. No, but the Northside game, Northside Sipsey, I'm definitely going to be keeping up with that one. It's funny. I have the live updates file that goes out every night, and I'm always standing on the sideline just updating it, like seeing, what's going on around the area. So I'll be keeping my eye out, obviously, for all the games.
Does Tuscaloosa Academy keep their? I mean, I'm still impressed. Do they keep their winning ways going?
Yeah, they play Vincent, and I think they're both Vincent. Also, I want to say is 5-0, so that's going to be a good game. I saw something today on Twitter or X, I guess. I forget who posted it.
We had that conversation too about is it X, is it Twitter, or will we ever figure it out?
I know. I honestly, I just call it Twitter. But I was on there, and I think it was like the 2A Bama football Twitter account. They posted kind of like the numbers side by side, and it looks like just solely based off like stats and numbers, Tuscaloosa Academy had the slight edge. But we'll see Friday night, or I guess tomorrow night now. So that'll be a good one too.
All right. Well, I noticed in your rankings you had it 3. I mean, Hillcrest is sitting at 3-3, but you still have them as your top ranked program. You still feeling that way as we go into whether it's week 6?
Yeah, I definitely am. I definitely think Hillcrest is the top program. I would say that, because like you said earlier, the 4A schools and below, the West Alabama really dominates. So that's like how the Gordos and the Bibbs are up there. But I definitely think Hillcrest, at least from what I've seen.
Right.
What do you think? I'm curious.
Huh?
What do you think? I'm curious.
Well, from a which team I think would win if there was a region or a county tournament like they do in basketball, I would say Hillcrest. I would say Hillcrest is the best football program, even though they moved up to 7A. I would say, if I was ranking it based on who's having the best season, of course, that kind of makes it, a TA Tuscaloosa Academy type of feel to it, which is so weird. I mean, you need to understand when Xavier was at TA and I was helping coach there, Anna, they were Kentucky. It would be like Kentucky or Kansas being really good in football.
Yeah.
For me mentally, that's every time I hear TA 5-0 in football, I always think they were a basketball school, but we helped make that transition when Xavier
I was about
there.
to say my class is a part of that turnaround. We went 11-2 my senior year. Then they won a state championship a couple years later.
That's
awesome.
awesome.
And now, of course, they're playing ASHA ball now.
Yeah.
I can't say enough good things about Coach Josh Wright over there. He's doing a great job, and he's just a great guy. So I'm really glad to see them having the success that they're having, and they're good kids too over there. So it's just I'm happy to see that for them.
Well, we're getting ready to get out of here in just a few minutes. I'll give you the floor. Anything you want to share with our listening audience?
Nope, nothing else I got.
All right. Well, tell our listening audience where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter or X at Anna E. Snyder too.
All right. One more time, Anna.
Anna E. Snyder too on Twitter or X.
All right. That's Anna Snyder, Tuscaloosa News beat writer, Tusk Prep. She does a great job. She joins us each and every Thursday. She's going to be at the County High Hillcrest game. Used to be a big time rival, Xavier, but now it's kind of lost a little luster. And hopefully, having a second 7A program in the county is going to help raise the level of football help County High raise your level of football. Hillcrest is going to have to grow into that role. Your closing thoughts?
No, I totally
Yeah,
agree with you. Oh, sorry. Were you even talking to me?
No,
sorry.
go ahead, Anna.
No, I'll get off. You guys have a good
No,
night.
you go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I agreed with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. You have a good one.
Yes, thank you. You guys too.
X, closing thoughts. We're about ready to get out of here.
Yeah, and what, like I said, I always love talking high school football and hearing the coaches and what they're talking about with their programs and how they're trying to take it to the next level. And I think Coach Jones is doing a great job out there at Northside, getting them to continue to play winning football even as they move up through classifications. So it's always fun to watch, and I think there's a lot of good games that are on the schedule for tomorrow night. So it'll be fun to talk about next week.
All right. Hey, that's Xavier Houston. That was Anna Snyder. We had Coach Robbie Jones as a part of the program. I'm Martin Houston. We thank you for being a part of West Alabama High School Pigskin Preview Show. And hey, listen, if you're in the market for a home, if you need listing or if you need to list it or you're looking to buy, have a great offer going on right now. You can get cash incentive to help you with the moving expenses. If you want to find out how, you can text me at 205-826-1381 or call or email martinhoustonrealestate@gmail.com. That's martinhoustonrealestate@gmail.com. Listen, great incentives, and it will save you money or help you offset the cost of your moving. If you're listing, we need to be talking right now. And Martin Houston Real Estate is a part of Empowerment Strategies and Solutions. That's one of the divisions. We also empower in leadership and advancing financial literacy. Go to empowermentstrategy.com, empowermentstrategy.com. Empowerment spelled with an M, empowermentstrategy.com. Hey, listen, thanks for being part of it. Join us tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier, powered by Box Eye Care. Roll Tide, and we'll catch you on tomorrow.
WTBC Tuscaloosa and W265CG Tuscaloosa, a Town Square media station. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9.
Check out the great folks over at Box Eye Care, Daniel Box, OD, 205-342-0660. Box Eye Care, boxeyecare.com. They have a great new location where they are going to take care of all of the things you've come to expect from them, but they've also added that new in-house lab where you're going to get a great choice of inventory. In most cases, you're going to be able to get in and out with a stylish new look in 1 hour or less. And it's also going to mean that you're going to get great competitive prices. That's Box Eye Care, providing you the same great service that you've always expected and a whole lot more. Visit Box Eye Care, boxeyecare.com, 205-342-0660. That's Box Eye Care. Dr. Daniel Box and his team are waiting on an opportunity to serve you. Visit them at 5003 Oscar